Welcome to Module 2, Types and Approaches of Research. In this module, we begin to map the landscape of research by looking at its different types and approaches. Understanding these distinctions is absolutely essential because the choices you make at this stage will shape your entire research design, from the tools you use to the conclusions you can draw. Let's start with types of research. While research can take many forms, there are three foundational types we'll focus on this week: descriptive, applied, and exploratory research. Descriptive research is used to observe and document characteristics of a phenomenon without altering or manipulating any variables. For example, a study that surveys employee satisfaction levels across departments is descriptive. It's focused on what is, not on changing anything. Applied research, by contrast, is about solving real-world problems. It tests strategies, tools, or interventions to produce practical outcomes. Think of a nonprofit evaluating the impact of a new youth program or a healthcare team piloting a new patient intake system. This is applied research in action. Exploratory research happens when you don't yet have a clearly defined problem. This kind of research is often used at the beginning of a project to generate ideas, identify patterns, or shape future questions. It's ideal when you're in unfamiliar territory and need to make sense of a complex or poorly understood issue. Each of these types serves a different purpose, and your job as a researcher is to identify which one best aligns with your goals. Now let's move to the two research approaches that guide how we investigate these topics: quantitative and qualitative. A quantitative approach emphasizes measurement, objectivity, and statistical analysis. It's rooted in the idea that we can understand the world through numbers and observable facts. Researchers using this approach often rely on experiments, structured surveys, and large data sets to test hypotheses and identify patterns. A qualitative approach, on the other hand, focuses on understanding meaning and experience. This approach is flexible and context-sensitive, often involving interviews, focus groups, or open-ended observations. It's particularly useful when you're trying to explore how people perceive, feel, or make sense of a situation. Each approach has strengths and limitations. Quantitative methods offer generalizability and precision, but they can overlook nuance. Qualitative methods provide depth and insight, but findings may not always be broadly applicable. The key is choosing the approach that best fits your research question and your desired outcome. In real-world research, especially in interdisciplinary fields, you'll often see both approaches used together. This is called mixed methods research, and we'll explore that in more depth later in the course. So what's your task for this module? You'll complete a research classification exercise. Choose a topic from your academic, professional, or community life, anything you find meaningful or relevant. Then, describe how this topic could be approached from a descriptive perspective, an applied research purpose, and both quantitative and qualitative lenses. This will help you see how flexible and dynamic research can be, and how your choices influence the kinds of answers you get. Finally, don't forget to complete the Module 2 quiz. This will reinforce your understanding of the types and approaches we've covered. You'll need to score at least 80% to move forward. In summary, this module empowers you to make informed decisions about how to investigate the topics that matter most to you. Knowing whether your work is descriptive, applied, or exploratory, and whether it should be approached quantitatively or qualitatively, sets the foundation for strong, relevant, and credible research. So take your time, reflect on your goals, and start thinking like a designer of inquiry, not just a consumer of data. Let's get to work.